Hi guys, Foxy here. This will be part 10 of What If Izuku Was a Vigilante. Now, I know it has been a while since I posted. That was because finals came up and I was studying, doing work, prepping myself for them. But it's over and I have the weekend all to myself now, so I should get some videos out. I do have part 5 of What If Izuku was a zombie done already. I just have to edit it a bit and upload it. And in the background, if you can hear, there's some music playing. My sister's Chromebook is open and she decided she will play some music while she's out. No idea, but it's there and I'm too lazy to shut it off. So, let's get on with the video, shall we? Oh, and before that, I'm going to give some warnings. There will be mentions of child abuse, abandonment, and neglect. And there's a few other things I just can't remember. Honestly, right now, I'm just going off the seat of my pants right now. I don't really have anything planned for this. It's kind of like a filler chapter, or a filler and an info chapter, because I realized I was not explaining about omega, betas, and alphas, or my version of them. So, yeah. And I realized I was not really saying anything about that, so this is kind of like like I said, filler and info chapter. So, let's get on with the chapter, shall we? Izuku's POV. It's been a few days since the raid, I guess. And currently today is the worst day of my life. Well, kind of. I'm just being dramatic here, but I could tell a storm was coming in. I smell it and see it. The clouds are all black and gloomy, and I can smell the hints of rain coming. And currently, I'm in the forest. I left my spot the day after the raid. And God, that raid made me feel so good. It's hard to explain. I only go after low-level thugs. Ugh. But, well, yeah, that's all I go after. And, well, they do taste pretty good. I never went after anything bigger. But for the three nights of going around and saving kids, it made me feel fulfilled. It made me feel like I was doing something right in my life. I don't know how many lives I saved, or if I even cut off the head of the snake yet. After all, even if you cut off the head of the snake, it still moves for a very long time. So, I've been on the lookout for any info on slave trades. Luckily, there hasn't been anything coming up yet. I don't know if that's really good or bad. It's good that I don't hear nothing. That means they're probably gone. But the thing is, they're probably not gone. They just got really good at hiding, which makes it even more difficult to find any kids who are still in the slave trade. God, I'm getting depressed. Either way, I feel like there's something wrong. Just today. I feel like something is just nagging me in the back of my mind. It took a couple minutes for me to realize what's happening, and it's my omega. For a few years now, I've been pushing down that omega. I never want to be weak. Omegas are known to be weak and defenseless. But then I remember that I was a royal omega. I'm supposed to be a badass bottom, which I don't want to be. I'm a top, for God's sake. I'm a toppy top. Ain't no bottom. So I've been trying to ignore it. Or ignore them, or is it even them? Is it just instinct? Is it just another part of my mind? Who knows? Who cares? I'm calling them. Either way. Yeah. And my Omega wants me to go deeper into the forest. So I didn't object. After all, rule 1 of survival, follow your goddamn instincts. No, what I mean by follow your instincts, I mean follow your gut, don't follow your Omega. Because, one, your Omega might just get you killed or bred. No thank you. But for this one time, I decided to follow my Omega. After all, what could hurt me? I'm practically invincible with my sharp razor-like teeth, claws, and very thick skin. Wait, never mind. I'm not in my thick skin mode. I am still a human, for peak's sake. I went deeper and deeper into the forest. The leaves were green with life, even though they were overshadowed by the darkening clouds. Then I heard the rumble and the boom of thunder and lightning. The moon was gone, hidden behind the gloomy clouds. Now the rain started to pour in. It was heavy and hard, hitting me in the back as if it was just little pew-pew guns. Yeah, they didn't hurt that much, but they sure got annoying after a while. And now I'm soaked to the bone in cold, icy water, making me shiver a bit. Yeah, I like the water, but I still can feel the cold, goddammit. Especially if I'm out of water. When you're surrounded by water, that's different. Your body gets used to it. But now, water is just pelting me, not staying on my goddamn skin. You can tell I'm getting a little bit irritated now, because I keep getting deeper and deeper into this creepy forest. Yeah, I might be indestructible, but that doesn't mean I still fear what's in the dark. After all, the creepiest things are in the dark. Yeesh. But still, I go deeper and deeper, until I can hear the cries and wails of a child. I breathe in through my nose, which was kind of not a mistake. The smell was like roses and wine. Don't ask me how I smelt wine, I smelt it before, don't blame me. I'm a kid on the streets who needs some entertainment. Thank you very fucking much. So, yeah. Smells of roses, very, very smelly roses, and wine. And something just deep, deep within my brain breaks and floods me in concern, worry, and anger. Without me even realizing it, I ran for it, my feet hitting the ground and launching myself forward, my claws digging into the earth. And soon I was in the middle of a pasture. Not a pasture. It was a spot where no trees grew, only grass, and there laid a child, bloodied, bruised, and broken. She was crying, wailing, and she looked about 13. Or, no, maybe 12, 11? Don't ask me, I don't know ages. I practically look like a 13, wait, I'm 12, I look like a 9-year-old, for peak's sake. Because I don't eat the healthiest foods. I eat junk and human flesh. So, yeah, don't blame me. And I ran over to her, and something comes out of me. I don't know what it is, which could not be a big mistake. But it calmed down the child a bit. I put my hand to their head, and they were burning up, like scalding burning. I brought my hand back to myself. Sheesh, you must have one hell of a fever. She shook her head and let out a broken cry. Then she spoke, still in broken, chattery mess. It's no, it's a fever. Another wail left her mouth as her back arched. Then it went back to normal. It's heat. Another strangled cry and wail left her voice. I sat there confused for a minute, then I remembered, oh, right, there are alphas and betas here. Peace to all that is living, I can't remember shit. So what do I do? Wait, should Omega's heat be this bad? I said, raising my eyebrow. Royal Omegas have this, she said. Oh, right. If it makes you feel better, I'm a Royal Omega. She smiled a bit, but tears streamed down her face, being washed away away by the rain. I really did try to bring down her temperature, but everything I did just didn't work. Nothing worked. Then I tried to heal her. Maybe that will help. But somehow the wounds were already infected. Green, yellowish pus left her wounds. And it just looked terrible. She didn't look ugly, she just looked pitiful. She had beautiful dark hair and pale skin. Or now it was sickly pale. I bet it was beautiful before, but now it's pitiful. And she had beautiful glowing red eyes that seemed to shine. Then hours go by. She no longer could scream or wail. She already screamed herself bloody. Really, she did. Blood left her mouth every time she tried to scream or talk. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she was twitching. She looked like she was dead. If it wasn't for the signs of twitching or her chest going up and down, I would think she would be dead. And she did die. Her eyes were still open, looking deep into the forest. Into a direction I didn't come from. It was just a direction. And her chest didn't beat, didn't raise, she didn't cry. She just was there. I froze. By now, I would be hungry, probably gorging myself on her skin. But I wasn't hungry. I was sickening. It was hard to breathe. I started to hyperventilate, clawing at the ground trying to breathe. I never felt this way before. I never cried this heavily before. After my father's death, or my mother's, not even my mom could make me cry this heavily. So why now? Why just a regular, or just some other kid that I don't even know about dies, and now I'm acting like this? Sobs and screams left my throat. My heart clenched, and I was just sad. Sad, angry, and furious. But in practice motions, I take that anger, I take my feelings, and work into my bones, work into my muscles. I started to dig. I dug and dug and dug until I knew it would be enough for her to be protected against nature. Then I put her body in there, covered her in flowers and rocks. Beautiful green, blue, red rocks. Then dirt. Dirt after dirt after dirt, I covered her. Until you could not see her body, until you could not see the hole. I covered the dirt in grass. Then some flowers. I never got her name. That was the saddest part, after all. She was doomed to die, after all. Royal Omegas don't live regularly don't live past their first heat. I was lucky. I had a friend who practically drowned me in ice water, kept me alive, made sure I ate, made sure I didn't touch or breathe in anything dirty. But she didn't have a chance. She was already scarred, bruised, and bloodied. Her wounds were already affected. Even if she lived past this heat, she would have died hours later because of how affected the wounds were. Her limbs would have been chopped off, and that would only give her a slight chance of survival. She was already doomed to die. But I could smell someone else's scent on her. It was of a beta. After all, I met a few alphas before. Their scents were usually heavy and very, very frickin' musky. Not the prettiest smell out in the world. But betas usually have a regular scent. Not overpowering nor sweet. It was just there. And it was all over the little girl. And not in the best places. And from how badly beat up she was, I could tell and feel it was abuse. So, again, I took that anger and fueled it into my muscles. So I ran and ran and ran until I came to a broken down cottage. Wood and paint were peeling off, and the wood looked like it was going to fall apart. I shoved my foot through the door, quite literally by accident, and the door broke and splintered off into pieces. Some wooden shards got into my leg, but I didn't care. I couldn't feel it. I only felt deep hatred billowing through my chest. A fat, ugly, pig-like person came out, yelling about, "Cassandra, who the fuck is this?" I assumed it was a little girl. Cassandra. What a pretty name. But a growl left my voice. It was deep and menacing as I flexed my fingers. Claws, black, shiny claws, left my fingertips, and they gleamed in the moonlight. When did it stop raining? When did it stop? Nope, never mind, it didn't stop raining. A boom of lightning crashed to the ground, and I was illuminated in light. The guy looked at me. He looked scared for a moment. Imagine this, seeing a kid covered in blood, rain, and sharp black claws, sharp white teeth that seemed it could bite through flesh, which it could, and dark green hair covering their pale face. You would be startled for a moment. But the guy, yeah, he got startled. Then he threw a fucking bottle at me. I slapped the bottle away, even though it hurt my bones a bit. Sheesh, my bones are getting weak. I lunged at the man, my mouth opened, and I took a nice big chunk out of his forearm. He screamed in pain and threw me. I landed on my feet and darted over to him again, my claws slashing and clawing their way through his fat. I was determined to kill, and kill and kill and kill. After 5 minutes, he was down. His back, arms, legs were covered in deep gashes. I jumped on him, and I bit his sick neck. He didn't taste good at all. I couldn't eat him. No, I would have thrown up my meal. So instead, I decided to keep him alive while pulling out his fucking organs. And I did that. Fat and bits of muscle, along with all of his organs, left him. He was screaming and screaming in pain. I ran as quickly as I could to grab some salt. After I did, I poured it all over his wounds. His screams amplified as I poured salt, wine, bleach, anything I could to make the wounds worse, on top of him. Soon he died from blood loss and shock. I was angry. I was still so angry. I was no longer hungry. I just wanted to kill. And I just beat the dead body until there was nothing but pulp left. Bone shards turned into dust. And I realized what I did. I wasn't ashamed of it. He was an abuser. Like her. And he hurt that little girl. Made sure there was no chance of survival for her. She died even though she could have lived. She could have lived past her first heat. She could have had a family of her own. But this slimy bastard took it all away. I set the stove on fire and coated the house in oil. And soon it blew up in beautiful rays of oranges and yellows. Fire. So much fire. And I walked away. My claws gleaming in the light, and drips of blood hit the ground. I was satisfied, for now. I left, deep anger billowing in my chest, but I shoved it away. Shoved it so damn deep you couldn't feel it. After all, if you run on emotions, you're bound to make a mistake. You're bound to get yourself or a person killed. And I'm determined to not do that. Hey guys, Foxy here. This is the ending of part 10. I really do hope you like it. I think I could have done better, but I think this is as far as we're going to get along with it. Because I have tried multiple times with part 10, and neither of them made me really happy. But I think this one did a bit better than the other two. So we're going to stick with it for now. I really hope you guys like it, and toodaloo!